Welcome to the channel all about economic board games. Today I'm going to be giving you a run through of this game, Panamax. Now you can see the design is just below here. It's brought to you by Stronghold Games, and this is a 2 to 4 player game, probably 2 hours plus on this one. There's a fair bit of setup and it's quite a meaty game as well. Now what are we doing? So Panamax is one of the largest ships in the world, and it specifically is one of the largest ships that fits through the Panama Canal, and this board here represents the flow of ships from one side of the canal to the other, and it is our job as shipping companies to manage this cargo in contracts. So you've got these contracts you're going to be getting and you're going to be fulfilling them as cargo on here. You're going to be shifting that cargo depending on where it needs to go onto the various ships, sending it through the canal, hopefully avoiding the costs in these purple, get it through and get some bonuses for your company. And equally in this game you've got the company you're running with shares as well, and that's all dictated on any of the prices, but you've most importantly got your private fund, and this is how you're going to win the game, with your own personal funds and money for the win. Now, if you want a shorter overview, then check out my video from last week. There is a fair bit going on here, so I'll take my time to go through it. I'm going to be reenacting, or should I say playing as two players. Got yellow and red here, so some slight variances in this two-player game. Clearly, you've only got two companies, a couple of ships have been taken out, and there's less dice as well. I think it's 10 dice for the actions and 2 for the executive. And let's get started then. So we'll say yellow is going to go first, and this is their company. You got your shares at the top. You have got, I'll kind of bring it a bit close to the camera. So you've got these 4 flags. You've got Europe, East America, China, and West America. And those guys are going to be offering us contracts that we're going to be taking and hopefully fulfilling with cargo. You can see the contracts are here. Once they're here, we start off with one. We would have there would have been a selection to choose from, and we chose this one. You load the dice matching the actual numbers on there from your warehouse here, and then you're trying to get that onto the boats. Now there's various benefits on here if you manage to get these symbols as you go along. Hopefully we'll have achieved a few of those as we go through. These are guests which you get from cruise ships, and there's a big stack of them there, and we've got a couple of ships that we can hopefully purchase. $7 for that and $5 for that one, and the company starts off with $18 as well. And your own player funds, you got $6. You begin with this ship that can hold up to 2 dice, 2 cargo, and you get 1 share. You also start off from a selection of financial cards, I can't remember what they're called now, financial cards, and these would be kept secret normally until the end of the game, but I've kept them face up so we can kind of see what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve. This one, basically, depending on the number of Europe tokens you've acquired here, you're going to get 1, 2 or 3 money depending on how many. And this one here is very interesting. If you manage to pay dividends for your company on the very last turn, and there's 3 rounds in this game, you will get to keep all the money from your company into your own personal funds. That's very interesting. So yellows are going to go first then, and actions are either on the blue section or the white section. So there is a lot going on. Essentially you've got the ships here, and they're going to be following the arrows around this canal, and there's various locks and ship movement spots. That's all monitored up here as you acquire them. We start off with a ship here and a ship here, so yellow's got that one there and red's got that one, along with the ones they've got in their personal supply. But in terms of how we do the actions, then you've got a choice of these dice, and this is where you're selecting your actions. So you've got the blue area that's all about movement of ships, and then you've got the grey area that's about loading up and taking contracts. So yellows are going to kick off. They're looking at the contracts then, and we've got Europe, East America and China, and we're looking at the boats in China, and this one's a military ship. You can see it's got the red crosses, so you don't actually load cargo on there. We've got, so there's not actually any ships out there that will accommodate cargo at the moment. You've got the cruise liners, which you need a 1 or a 2 dice pip to go on there, and it's treated as, I guess, guests in this case. And once you've got more dice than the black numbers, you can set off, and we're basically going to have to bring out one of our own cargo ships if we're going to do this. So we've already got this one here, West America, for yellow, so let's go and place it here. So you can see you've got this waiting zone and you've got these loading bays. So these ones here have usually been full circle, sort of semicircle across, and they're kind of waiting here for one of us players to decide where to put it. Once you commit to one of these zones, then you kind of commit into that path, and that has to match the contract. So in this case, we're gonna put out our ship that's already been pre-built by our company, and we're going to commit to the West America, so it's going to head towards West America. And the reason I'm doing that is because we've got this contract here with West America on, and I can do that at any point, move my ship out. But in terms of my action to load onto it, I need to do one of these grey ones. I'm not quite ready to move anything because, well, I guess I could move this yellow one here, but I'm going to show you how to take one of these actions. So I guess on a future turn, I'm probably going. So this won't be my best strategy, by the way. There's a lot to think about playing as two players. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this one because it gives me the option to move. So when you take a dice, you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At the top there, you can see them. And any dice that's in these kind of, you see these sort of areaed off spaces are called standard actions, whereas these ones at the top, there's only 2 in this case, are I believe called executive actions, and they allow you to do these particular ones at the top. So I should say that you basically start from the bottom, so you pick a column, and then you take the furthest down dice, which in this case is this, and you get the action below it. So we're going to get one contract card we take, which is from this column, so we add that here, and we immediately take dice from the warehouse. So this is the warehouse and this is the dice pool to fill this. So we take that dice and we match the numbers up, so it doesn't really matter what the dice pips are. And then there's no more in the warehouse, so we take these here. So we've got a 2 and a 1, and we have loaded the contract. So that's basically cargo that's gone from your warehouse or the dice pool over to the contract to go and fulfill it. And we take this dice and just leave it in front of us for now, and we get free. We can load up free things from the ship, and we can we've already taken our contract. We refill that one. You've got the main draw pile, and there's an inbound one, so it kind of gives you a heads up of what's potentially coming out in the future to prepare. So we've taken this action, and we've now got to load up. So you can load up one cargo. Well, as many cargo as I can based on I've got three options, but one per ship. So we were going to the west, and annoyingly it's a 4. So I'm going to put that on there. So I can only put one on there. And you can see the conditions for this ship, I'll just bring it closer, is once it's got a value of pips between 5 and 11, this ship can go. So if the first pip I'd have put on here was a 5 or 6, I could go straight away. But unfortunately, it's a 4 I've got. And I couldn't just chuck on that Europe 6 because I would need a ship over here. Although if I hadn't have been too hasty and took off with West America, I could have used that ship over here. And I haven't got any more ships. I guess I could buy another ship. I've got the money to do so. Maybe I want to do that. Yeah, we'll do that. It's just an addition. It's not an action as such. You can just do it. So the gold is 5 and the silvers are 1s. So I'm going to pay 7 money to the bank. And we're going to build this ship here. You can see it accommodates 3 spots here, and it can set off for sale once it's got between 7 and 13 as a value. So we're going to put that over here, and we're going to move it into the Europe slot because we're heading towards Europe. And remember, I've only allocated 1 dice so far. I've got up to 3 I can do. So I'm going to do 1 from this boat onto here. So 6. I couldn't do another one. And I could. So basically, in a 2-player game, there's not as many ships out there, and once your opponents start getting ships out and they're flowing, and there's a few more here, I could use that extra placement to put any of my cargo, on anyone's ship. So it doesn't necessarily need to be on the yellow ships. I'm just going to have to leave it there, really. So that's my action done. I took the die, I've maximised what I can out of that, and I've took a contract card. Over to the Reds then. So they are thinking, let's show you some movement. Or do they want to load some cards? Well, they know that, See, this is the tricky thing. If they don't load cargo on this one or this one, then basically yellow on the next turn is most likely to try and put cargo on them. And if that's the case, then both of them ships have got purely yellow on them. And that means that once they get right through to the end, and they well, in this case, that one gets to here, they're going to get money for each pip on there. But it's kind of motivation to get your cargo on it, because then your opponent, or at least some cargo on it, because your opponent is then spending their moves to push that ship that's got their cargo in yours. So you're getting money into your company for not really having to spend the action. So I'm probably just going to go and take one of these. Now, there's no 6s left, which isn't a biggie, but I'll go for... So they've got a European one. Now, if they want to get on these 2 boats, they're going to want either... Well, they're going to need a Europe, which they have got, or a West America. So they've got the Europe, and they're thinking, right, what's coming out in the future? We're gonna go for this one, number 4. So we take the number 4. We take the contract, because the one at the bottom. We add this here, and again we get the red dice this time, so we've got a 6 and a 2. And we then get 2, so the one below the dice, 2 movement. So we're going to take this Europe one, we're going to take the 5, and we're going to head to Europe, and we're going to put it on here. So technically that's good to sail now. And you can only ever have 2 contracts uncompleted. I'll just chuck that in there while I'm here, so we couldn't just load up with more and more. And we have not got, well, China. We could put this, yeah, we'll do that. We'll plonk one of our own ships out, and we'll set sail towards China, and we're gonna put a 6 on it. So we've met the requirements there. Okay, so they have completed theirs. The European one is inbound. East America's out there, and China's been revealed. Over to yellows. So they're probably going to want to move now. This one's, the dice pip total is 11, which meets the requirements, but do they want to sneak on another cargo, or do they just want to set sail? So if they did do another cargo, they've got this one, and this one, that, well, they can't load China unless they take a China. Oh, there isn't actually a China contract out there, but West America they've still got, and Europe they've still got. So maybe they want to fill out those boats, so it gives them the advantage. Well, not the advantage, but it just maximizes that cargo. When you're spending so much effort to move these ships through, you probably want to get them loaded to the max. We're going to do that. So you don't have to take a contract card, and we probably can't, because we've already got 2 here. I think that's right in the rules. I think you can only have 2 at least at the end of the round. So we're going to go and take 5. Well, yeah, we're going to take this 5 here. So that gives us 1 contract card, which we're not really too fussed about at the moment. And we're going to take 2 loads, and we're going to load up this 4 onto West America. So in doing so, well, I'll come back to that, and we're going to put a 2 on Europe. So one thing I didn't spot actually is that I do have a 1 here, which would have allowed me, I think we can still, well, we've only got two options to put them on ships. Okay, we'll just stick with that. So this one is a Europe, and that's going to go on there. And still, so we've completed this contract card now, and basically we get a token for West America. So you can see there's a couple of stashes here: China, West America, Eastern Europe. So you take one of these, we can put this anywhere on the board. It can't go in here because that's for guests only. We put it on the first option there. And this is important because if we move a military ship now, and only 1 ship counts on your movement, you can't move like 4 different military ships and get each point. But you can see if we move a military ship in specific to West America, which is this one, So you can see it's got an X. If we move that, we're going to score 1 coin. So you look above, 1 coin that goes to our personal supply. So that little outline of a meeple means it goes to us. And well, we've completed that. That one's done. We'll just discard that over there. And we've done both loads. So over to reds. Let's. They probably want to. Let's load up as well. I'm going to take this 5 because I want to show you this executive action on the next turn. That's if they take it, because they're probably going to want to move. I do forget that they could build this ship. Let's do this again. Movement will happen, I promise you. These guys are going to take the 5 then, so that gives them a contract. East America, do they really want that? Because they've shifted the cargo out of here, which is important because there's costs. So maybe they don't want the contract just yet. But East is going around here. They could take. It's a 5, a 2, and a 1. Okay, we'll assume we won't take that for now. And they've got an upload of 3. So the China one, they're going to build this little ship here for 5. So they've spent 5 to build this ship, and they're going to head towards China. Yes, I've got a plan, I promise. So actually, why are we building a China one? We've already got a China one there. Okay, ignore that. We'll build this, but we are going to. I probably shouldn't have built this. Although me building ships means that someone else might take advantage of it. We're just gonna leave it in this pool here for now. Probably shouldn't have built that just yet until I had a plan. But what we're gonna do is we've got 3 loading things. So China here, I kind of forgot I had that one there. So we can put that 2 on there. Now Europe, this particular boat is full, but there is another option here. There's a cruise ship, and you can put 1s and 2s on there. So we're going to put a 1 and a 2 on there, and it came from our Europe, so it's heading to Europe. But it can't go until another dice is on there, or at least another one. And they've sort of shifted both of these, so they're going to get a China symbol and a Europe symbol. 1 Europe, 1 China. Now, if there's anything ever below them, you're going to get some benefits. You're kind of going to get the option to buy a share. You've got options to load a dice from your area here, contracts onto a ship, and that's additional because you can only ever normally put 1 on a boat, but in this case you can put an additional 1, or you could take a 2 from here and it has to match 2, which is a bit of a speedy way. This one is you can, oh, what's that one again? I can't remember now. Something to do with the rail. So up here you've got this symbol. I'll show you on this one actually. So you can see the dice pip on here can't go on a boat. It has to go on the rail track up here. And this kind of, once you put it on the most left spot, once 4 filled up, and at the end of the round they'll all shift here depending on who has the maximum sum. Hopefully that'll become apparent through the game, and it determines player order, and you get these tokens as well. And you've got extra movement as well. I'll have to have a look what the rules are. There's a couple of nice things in there. You can also see that if you're not happy with the dice location, there is a mulligan rule as well. If there's, I think it's 4 or less dice on one side, you reroll. But you can actually see this cost here. You can pay, your company can pay $5 to move a dice from the blue side to the grey side, or vice versa. And could be crucial if you really needed, a certain contract card, or you wanted a certain amount of movement. And where were we at? I've got a little bit lost now. The red players had just acquired these 2. Yeah, that's right. And those are completed. And over to yellows. They've definitely got to do movement. And you can see this one's going to give them the most movement. So we're going to take this 3. Although there is that executive action, but there's not really a lot else to load. They have got that 1. And they could do with another contract, really. And at the end of the game, they're all about Europe at the moment, and there is one out there. I'm just going to show you guys movement. And annoyingly, we are leaving this 3 vulnerable for the red players to take. So we're going to take this one, and we have 3 waterway. Is it waterway? Is it 3 lock movement and 3 waterway movement? Because that's the dice we revealed. So we push these up to the track to remind us what we've spent. And we're going to get some of these ships moving. What do we want to start moving? So we like the look of this one, and we've got this little tiddler out there already, but hopefully something can come along and push that. We haven't got, well, we've got a West America, so we might be incentivized to move that one as well. Now you can move any combination of these, but they have to fit in the actual lock of 4. So we're gonna, and to get through, you can see you follow the arrow, and you're gonna need this blue symbol to get into there. So we're gonna push this 2, and this little ship here, this what's the actual name? The USS Pegasus, so it's a military ship. We couldn't fit anything else in there because you can see there's only one spot and all these are bigger. So doing so, we have spent a lock symbol, so that goes down 1. And it's not per ship, it's just the entirety of the cluster that goes through together. We're then going to, so on our turn then, we have moved that military ship, and we have got a West America token, so we're going to get 1 coin to our personal supply. Now let me just check. It says players can move different military ships on their turn, but can only be paid money once for one of them in the same turn. So I think we've maximised the money now for that. If we move it again on our turn, we're not going to get money. Yeah, okay, so we've done that. So we keep moving it. We're not going to keep getting coins, otherwise you could break the game. And let's now move this whole cluster into here. So we've paid this one to move it in. And we're going to do another one, so we've paid that one to move there. Now, there's a lot of strategies to where these ships sort of end up, because at the end of the round, you can see these sort of purple symbols across the board. If you have your cargo on certain areas with the purple dice, you're going to be paying that cost out of your company. So you can see if you've got dice in the whales, that's very expensive, 5. If we'd have left these cargo here, it would have been 2 and 1 in here. So you want to get your cargo right the way through. Now we've still got some to go as well. Now this will be interesting, and I'll do it even though it favours the yellow player. We're going to carry on. Now, when you get into these sort of open areas, this is Lego Miraflores, if that's an awful pronunciation. You can mix and match these. Say if another boat came in here, you could then set off sail with another boat. And it also depends on who's ahead of you and what space there is. So we're going to move. We're going to spend this waterway movement to head into here. Now, you can see there's a ship in here. Now, if you couldn't fit in there, you'd have to push this out to the next one, and there'd be no cost for doing so, and it's a benefit for yellow. So kind of holding your nerve and keeping sort of blocking certain spots can be an advantage. So we're gonna move into here. We could take this one with us, but as I say, we've been paid out once for one of them, so we're not actually going to get much for doing that. So I might as well just leave that one there to cause a bit of bother. And we're going to, but if I had moved it in, we'd have to move the whole lot. So, did I just spend that? I believe I did. Let's just check our maths. We went 1, 2, and what did we have? We had 3 of them. Yep, so all good. We're now going to spend our final lock. So we have to move everything in it, and that goes into here. That's right. Now, I'm hoping to move that out before all the actions are gone, because I was in a $1 spot and now I'm in a $2 spot. And I can actually carry on because I've got this symbol required to move out. So I'm going to spend my last symbol there, and we're going to move all these into this dotted line area, which is $1. And I'm going to move it all the way around here just to remind me it's there. Now, again, these boats can split off now, so I don't have to keep pushing yellow along for the free ride. But if yellow are clever and they decide just to move in here, then red is going to have to push them along if they want to get through. So we've maximised our movement options. That was red over to yellow. The yellow, let's show you one of these executive actions then. So you can see it's basically 1 to 6, but only 2 of the dice in a 2-player game. So we're going to take this 5, and that means we've got, we can use these options at the top. So we can either do the same options we would here, but in this case, it would be, well, this column would be 1 contract, which is always 1 anyway. So we could take our contract, and we'd take the maximum, which should be the free drop-off and cargo. Or we have the option to buy a share, which is this little red token, which kind of matches this. or we can increase one of the share prices by 2. Now we start off with 1 share each in our own colour, and do I really want to increase it by 2 just yet? I haven't really bought, so I'm probably going to want to buy one. Now who do I have faith in? And well, I'm going to take one of the opponents, I guess, because well, I don't know why. I'm just going to take an opponent's. So I drop the dice. Oh, who are we? We're yellow, aren't we? Yeah, red just did all that movement into it. So yellows are going to buy a share, and we are going to buy a red share. Yep. So the value of it is on here, and that is $6. So that goes to our personal supply for recognising dividends and paying at the end. But the money's actually it does actually come out of our own. Now I've got this really handy guide that was off BGG, which sort of helps the flow of money, because it can get quite confusing. So when we are, where are we? So we're buying a, even this is confusing. Moving in action, building a ship. We've got cargo fees, payback loans, selling shares. So moving, so here we are, right at the bottom, buy a share. So it goes from the player to the company. So there we go. So we are buying a share, and that costs 6. I didn't even sort of consider how much money we had, but we have got 6, and that money goes into the company of red because we've bought a share. Now let me just double check. When you buy a share, if the value goes up, that's usually what happens. Yep, it's increased by 1. So each time a player buys a share, the price of the company stocks increase. Okay, I thought that made sense on that one. So we bought red, it's gone up 1. And on the other side, that -2 basically refers to if a company can't pay its dividends. So at the end of the round, which hopefully I'll complete 1 round for you, in this case, yellow and red, yellow is going to get paid out dividends for wherever yellow and red are. So they'll get 3, and 3 is 6. And if those companies can't pay that, it comes out of the personal supply. And if they can't pay everyone, then no one gets paid a dividend, and the actual share price drops by 2. So, you know, those investors want their dividends. And we bought a share, we did our action over to reds. And let's do, I think they're going to be sneaky and take this number 3 here. They want to get in on the share action, and they're going to buy, so their own shares are slightly more expensive, even though the dividend payout is still 3. Are they going to buy yellow? So it still costs 6. Yep, let's buy yellow. And so they've got their personal supply. Lucky they've got 6. They pay that 6 to yellow, take one of the shares, and there's only, well, how many we've got 3, 5. There's only 5 shares in the game. So they've got, yeah, so they've kind of caught up there now. And again, that goes up 1. And we are over to yellow. So you can see buying shares and moving shares is a lot simpler than moving all this. And I really should have probably paid attention if red needed to actually do something very important of movement, because there's only so many actions left. And it is, for me, playing as 2 players, I'm maybe missing things that are much more urgent. Whereas some of these, a player might have really just gone for that one because they need to move ships in time to prevent paying these purple costs. Now that was red buying a share. Yellow is going to, so if there's only 1 more dice here to load this cargo on in time, which happens to be onto the railway, but if they don't, it's going to be $4. Now you could pay $5 to move one of those dice over, so it's not the end of the world. And do they want that Europe contract? If they take that Europe contract, there's going to be a 2 dice on it, and that 2 dice could happily fit on this one. We're going to do that. So we're going to take this 4, and completing this little contract as well means we're going to get a lot more of these Europe ones, which you can see lets us buy a share. And okay, I like this. So yellow, it was yellow, wasn't it? It's taken the 4. They take the contract, pop that there. They take a yellow pit there. We have got 3 options to load up. Now, I'll just show you as well that you don't necessarily need to take a contract card that has the flag on and numbers. You can rotate it, and everyone, I think they're slightly different, or are they all the same? Yeah, they do differ slightly, but you can see you take a dice, and it has to be a free pip from your warehouse dice pool, and it can go in this case on a ship or on a railway, and that's it. So there's less pressure, but the key here is there's no flag, so you can put it on any boat, so you don't have to worry about, you know, these exact locations. So that is something else you can consider as well. Now we get to load 3, so we decided that this 2 is going to go on this sneaky cruise ship, and we've completed that, so we'll come back to that. And this 1 is going to go on here, so we're starting to get a bit of railway presence. We're going to get 2 European symbols for them. We completed them, great. And remember, this player is all about Europe on their financial card. So we're putting these down. Now we get to buy a share, and frustratingly we haven't got the money, but I believe with shares you can delay it, so you can turn it over and you can do that. But there's a specific rule on that. I think the next time you put something on Europe, maybe I'll have to find it, but I think there's a rule that you can't keep that there forever, essentially. I think next time you either buy a share or you put another token, which normally we are actually putting another token, so bear with me, folks. I'm just going to find out what that is. So the market action. So if the player, for any reason, does not use this free action, he may choose to defer it. Okay, we've done that. When he receives another flag in a future turn for the same nation, he can use the deferred action. If he does not wish to use that immediately, it's lost. So it does say underlined in a future turn. So I'm assuming this is not a future turn, so I can plonk this down, which allows me to put a dice from my contracts, which I haven't got any, or a 2 from here onto a ship, which is quite nice. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a 2. And because it's an additional one, I can break the rules. Well, not break the rules, but I can put a 2 on this one as well. So I've made sure that you know, no other player can get on there now. And I guess that could have been, that would have had to be in Europe, I'm guessing. I'm assuming that option means it goes on Europe, or could it be anywhere I want? That'll be interesting. Let me have a quick nose. Load 1 die onto any income auto die, any ship, so I could put that on any ship actually. And you know what, I'm going to leave it there. So that would have been an interesting option to pop it on here, so at least I've got some presence there. Okay, we're happy with that. And that was one of, or where was that from? I forgot what we actually did now. We completed contracts and we moved them on. I think we took a 4, didn't we? It's probably advisable to keep the actual die here to remind you of what you did. And we've got no more dice to actually put on, so they are done. They probably want to start moving military ships because they've got, especially the European one, this NRP Sagres III. Over to Reds then. Now we're running low on actions. Remember, we can pay that $5 if we really want to load it. They're kind of in a good position. They haven't got cargo waiting on contracts, which is going to cost them. So they're going to move now and really try and move. They've got Reds have got this ship here, which is close, and this ship here. So what can we do? So we couldn't pay money to move that to there to get the maximum. And we're looking at this one, and we need 1, 2, 3 of those. Yeah, 1 of these, which is a big shame because we really could have done with that one. But there's still 4, so they're going to get 2 actions each left. And let's go for this one. That should have been a... Oh, that's got a 3 on it. I wonder if that should have been there, or maybe it accidentally moved. I'll pretend it's a 2. So we'll take this one, and this is Red's go, and they are going to move 2 locks and 1 of those. So we'll load this up to reminders, and we're going to go 1 lock, waterway should I say, and that's our only waterway. And then we've got 2 locks, so we're going to go 1, 2. So paid that one and that one. Now, hopefully, because we're assuming yellows are really going to want to get through as well, that... Oh, I'm hoping those were the dice pips. A bit finicky in this game. You do not want to be misplacing the dice because it's very important what comes out. And that was reds. Yellows then are going to... They really got... They haven't even started this boat. I didn't even realise that. Oh my days, and they've got all these... Right then, so we've learned a valuable lesson here. Loading up all these boats is not the best idea. You probably want to focus on one or two and get them through. Because at the moment, we've got boats here, we've got a couple of actions. We're in trouble, guys. Big trouble. Probably going to have to take loans because both players have invested in shares as well. I've got no personal funds. Right, we'll see how it pans out. So yellow, we're just going to take this one. I probably should look at what I want to do, actually. Let's get this ball rolling, because that's going to cost them 4. And that's going to cost them 4. So if they can get a waterway, at least a couple of these waterway locks, at least to reduce the cost. And that one's 2 and 2, so we'll take that one. And we're going to move this one into here. So I should load this up to begin with. And that's cost us 1 waterway. Currently we've reduced the cost from 4 to 3. We're going to pay another one of the locks to get in there, so that's 2. Let's see if we can reduce some damage here. So reds are in a quite nice position here where they haven't got as many dice on there, which I don't know if that's good or bad actually, but the yellows are going to have to take the hit and move it. So they're going to move